guys, welcome back to my channel. It is day 7 of my 12 days of Christmas and I am back to share with you guys another best in color video. Today we are tackling purples, as you can probably tell by the color of my sweater, the color of my nails, and the color of my eyeshadow. But I have to tell you guys, I am extra excited about this one. I think this might be one of the best eye looks I've done in a while, and I just barely got done filming the swatches. And boy, you guys, they are gorgeous. I cannot wait to share these shadows with you. You will see a lot of kind of taupey purple tones in here because that's the kind of purples that I really love. But there is a good mix from light to dark, different finishes, different undertones. The very best purples in my entire collection. But I hope that you guys are excited about it. Before we jump in, I want to welcome any new visitors to my channel. Hope that you enjoyed this video. Of course, if you do, please give it a thumbs up and make sure that you subscribe before you leave. And with that said, let's take a look at some purple eyeshadows. All right, you guys, so as we've done before, we're going to kind of go in order from lightest to darkest. And the very first shade that I selected is actually from a palette that I'm not super fond of. It is from Juvia's Place. It's the Juvia's Place Walhalla palette. This isn't a bad palette by any means. It's just much more colorful than I usually like to go. It does not have enough neutrals for someone like me, but there are some really beautiful and unique colors in here and a lot of really beautiful and unique purples. But I did just select one from this palette and it is this shade right here. This is the shade Envy. This is a really beautiful kind of sparkly, glittery light duochrome. I would call this a sheer pink toned purple that has a strong blue reflect to it. I love this color. It's such a pretty color to just put all over your lid if you like that kind of ethereal sort of look. Very duochromed but very brightening at the same time. I love the shift in it. It is so pretty on the eyes. I do have just a touch of this on my inner corner today. Actually, I'm going to add just a little bit more because I put this eyeshadow on like 7 hours ago and I'm not sure that you can still see that little pop of blue. I really want to kind of show it off for you guys. So pretty. I don't know how well you can see that, but I love this shade. And it is very unique. That's something that as I was swatching all the purples in my collection, this one really stood out as being something that isn't like a lot of other shades, but I do love it and I think it makes a fun addition to the other purples that I've selected. Next up is a shadow from Sydney Grace. I'm going to warn you guys right now, I probably could have done almost this whole selection of 12 shades just with Sydney Grace shadows because I love the Sydney Grace purples, especially her kind of taupey toned purples. I did limit myself though and pick just 4 of her purples, but the first one I knew I had to include in this grouping is the shade The Greatest Gift. I know I've mentioned this before, but I think this is one of Sydney Grace's best-selling shades. It is a beautiful duochrome. It's a purple that has a strong kind of goldish green shift to it. Another very unique shade. There is nothing at all in my collection that even mimics this shade. It's just very interesting, but so pretty. It's soft, it's unique, but it's also not something that someone who's really just into more neutral and soft looks would be intimidated by. It is a soft color. It just has a really unique kind of shift to it. Straight on it looks purple, but as you shift it to the light, you can see some of the green, and then as you turn it even a little bit more, you see some of the pink. Such a stunning shade. One of my favorites from the Sydney Grace line, and you guys know how much I love their shadows, so this is a definite addition to my 12 favorite purples. Next up is a matte shade. I wanted to pick a couple of lighter or mid-tone matte purples, and the first one that I picked is also from Sydney Grace, and it is the shade Winter Wonder. I know I've talked about this shade before. I love this shade so very much. It is a very light matte, almost gray toned purple, but it has almost like a white base to it. It's very light in color, which is what I love so much about it. I love putting this in my transition area or even all over the lid and just popping something shimmery on my inner corner like the first shade from Juvia's Place that I mentioned. That would be such a pretty and simple look. But what I love so much about this one is so many of these types of purples, and I have a lot of them within other palettes, but a lot of them turn gray on the eyes. This one has a stronger pastel to it, so it actually does stay purple without being very bold and vibrant, which makes it perfect for me. That's exactly what I love so much about it. Beautiful shade. Great formula, really easy to apply and blend, super pigmented, and it goes so well with the rest of the purples that I picked. But I did also want to pick a matte purple that was just a little bit deeper than that one, so I went for this one right here in the Making Mauves palette from ColourPop. This shade in the corner is the shade Big Moves. Now I know you might be wondering, that doesn't look that much deeper, but it is a little bit deeper and it does have more of a pink undertone to it than a blue toned purple undertone, as you will see right here. Oh, I love this one. So pretty. Another really good shade if you have really fair skin. This palette as a whole, if you're looking for muted purples, I think is a fantastic one. It also has some beautiful deeper matte purples in here. So if you want something that's going to give you a similar look to this one, but you have maybe more medium to deep skin, these shades are also absolutely stunning. But for my palette, I felt having these 2 shades would perfectly round out whatever I needed in my transition area if I was doing a monochromatic purple look. So pretty. Next up, we have some light to mid-tone shimmers. These are what what I kind of call classic lid shades for, at least for my skin tone. I love something that's a little bit lighter, very reflective, and I really agonized over these 4 shades. I kind of went back and forth between quite a few in my collection. I ended up going with these 4, and you guys might think some of them look similar. There were others that maybe had more strong purple undertones to them, but these are the ones that I find myself reaching for the most. They are my favorites, and I do see some subtle differences between them. So if you're wondering why they look so similar and why couldn't I have picked a little bit more variety, it's because I had to have them all. That's what it boiled down to. But the first one that I selected is this one from Essence. This is their Melted Chrome eyeshadow in the shade Zinc About You 01. Oh my goodness, you guys. This is a shade that I'm wearing all over the inner part of my lid today, minus what's on my inner corner right there. It is stunning. I love this shade. It has a really good creamy but light formula. It's very smoothing, so if really foiled metallics you find emphasize texture on your lids, this is one of the formulas I think would work well for those of you that want something reflective that's not going to emphasize texture quite so much. I feel like this is a really good formula for that. Let me just give it a quick live swatch for you guys so you can see how metallic that is. Oh, I love it. This one is the lightest of the mid-tone shimmers other than the 2 that I shared in the beginning. Perfect lid shade. This is one of those shades that you could just throw on your lid and put some mascara on and head out the door. It is just that pretty, that much of a showstopper. I absolutely love it and love the formula of these. I think more than anything, the price of these. You can get these for I think $2.99 or $3.99, maybe $4.99. I know they are under $5. You can often find them on sale, and this one especially is just exceptional. I do have 2 from Sydney Grace. Now this was where things got very difficult. Sydney Grace, as I've mentioned a few times, she makes my favorite shimmer formula ever. She also makes my favorite shimmer formula in that light purple range, and she makes so many of them. There's probably 6 or 7 that I was deciding between, but I ended up going with these 2, and this first one is actually quite new to me, and it is the shade Happy Accident. Oh my goodness, you guys, this shade, wait till you see it. Oh, it is so pretty. It's similar to this one, but as you can see, this is more of a blue tone purple, but it's still very brightening, very reflective. Honestly, I could look at that all day. I so love the Sydney Grace formula. I know I say this in every one of these videos, and I will probably say it again because I'm pretty sure I have some more Sydney Grace shimmers coming up in the next couple of videos that I have for you guys, but good heavens, it is just so stunning. Moving into the last 6 shades, but really quickly, let's address why I look so different right now. I actually was just filming this video, getting ready to post it for you guys, and I realized my last clip of footage with all of the second half of my shadows was not on my memory card. I don't know what happened. I think I forgot to hit record, so we're going to film it right now. I apologize that I look not as good as I did in the last video, but I literally just threw the sweater on top of my pajamas. It is what it is. We're going to try and make the best of it, maybe as a way to turn lemons into lemonade. Why don't we turn this into a little hidden picture spot the difference game, and you guys tell me what looks different about me right now, because there are a few things. There are at least 3. Okay, let's move into shade number 6. The next shade that I picked out is also from Sydney Grace, another favorite of mine. It's this one right here. This is the shade Go For It. Very similar to the shade Happy Accident, but this one has a lot more of a pink tone, whereas Happy Accident has more of a cool tone. This is actually nearly identical to the color of my sweater. There's a nice look at that swatch. Oh my goodness. Why don't we go ahead and just put some of this on my eye since I have no shadow on right now. I do have some bronzer in my crease. I did try to throw some eye makeup on before I hit record. Such a pretty shade. This one's not quite as brightening as some of the first shades that I mentioned. Also, it's not as brightening as Happy Accident is, but it's a really pretty lid shade. Super reflective, really good mid-tone purple. I love this color. I think it is absolutely gorgeous. The next shade is from Flower Beauty, and it's from their Jungle Lights palette. It is this shade in the corner right here. This one is probably the most similar to the shade I just swatched from Sydney Grace, the shade Go For It. And on camera, these swatches will look almost identical to each other, but in person, they are quite different. This one actually has some glitter in it. Like, there are some beautiful glittery particles in here, very soft glitter. It's not overly chunky or glittery, but it has more of a sparkle to it, whereas this is more of a true metallic. I also think this one is maybe a little bit kind of in between where the shade Go For It and the shade Happy Accident are. It has a little bit more blue in it. Maybe not quite as deep or mid-tone as this one right here. This really just came down to I could not decide between the 2 shades, so I decided to put them both in here. There was a part of me that came this close to putting this shade in here here instead. This is from the Huda Beauty Purple Haze palette. This purple in the corner right here, which is kind of like a charcoaly purple, so I'm technically not including this one, but I wanted to show you guys. I just don't like the formula of this one as much, and it does have, although I think it's interesting and unique, I know this is a shade I wouldn't wear nearly as much as I would wear these two shades. These are shades that I reach for very, very often. So that's my reasoning for putting all three of those shades in there. I know they look quite similar to each other, but I just think they are also beautiful, and they do have some subtle differences, at least to me. Now we're getting into some deeper shades, and this one is a shimmer. This comes from the BH Cosmetics Love in London palette, and it is this shade right here, the shade Duchess. This is a beautiful deep purple, not a shade I wear super, super often, but when I want to work something really nice and deep into the outer corner, or if I want to do a deep purpley smoky eye, which I do think is really pretty, this is a beautiful, beautiful shade. Great formula. It's more of a satiny shimmer. Hopefully you can kind of tell from this swatch right here. It's not quite as metallic and reflective as these two, but that's one of the reasons I love it. I think especially when it comes to really deep shades, I love something that you can use either all over the lid or also work into your crease, and this is the perfect color and formula for that. Super rich, super pigmented and buttery, really easy to blend. I mean, honestly, every shadow inside this palette, this is a really good palette as far as the formula goes. The colors are great as well if you like mostly neutral palettes, but the formula of this palette is just, it's next level. It's definitely high-end quality for an affordable price. The last three shades that I picked are all matte shades, beautiful deep mattes, and the first one comes from this right here. This is the Huda Beauty Mauve Obsessions palette. I really love this entire palette, but this shade in the corner right here is so incredible. I absolutely love it. It's kind of a charcoaly purple. Such a beautiful, beautiful color. I love this kind of a color in my outer corner, and not just the way that it looks, but also the way it performs. The mattes in these Huda palettes, I mean, honestly, Huda's mattes, generally speaking, are some of my very, very favorites. They're just so very rich, especially her deeper mattes. So here's a quick little live swatch for you guys. I love this shade. What I love so much about it is even though it's kind of a more cool tone purple, as you blend it out, it doesn't turn into a charcoal. A lot of these cooler tone purples I find as you blend them, you kind of lose some of the purple and you're left with kind of something a little bit more ashy. This one stays pretty purple in tone. I almost think this is a cool tone purple that has just a touch of red in it. I don't know if you guys are kind of seeing that, but it does have a little bit of warmth despite the fact that it's more of a cool tone. I know that was very contradictory, but that's what I think of when I use this shade. One of my favorites to put in my outer corner. In fact, let's just add a little bit of this to my outer corner. Make up for the little bit of a screw up in today's video. Oh man, you guys, this one's gonna probably go up late because it's already 3 in the afternoon. And I'm gonna have to run over to my mom's to use her faster internet to get this video up on time. So pretty, so easy to work with. Really great shade for the outer corner. I do have a lot of shades in my collection that mimic this shade right here, but nothing was quite as rich, quite as pigmented, quite as nice as this one is. For the next shade, I'm dipping into my Natasha Denona Love palette and picking this shade right here. This is the shade Trust. This is somewhat similar to the Huda shade. It's a little bit more of a true purple though. It has a really nice undertone to it. I would say this one, it's not a warm purple, but it's also not a cool tone purple. It's kind of right there in between. I feel like it could go either way, whether you're doing a more warm or a cool look. It's also not so bold and so strongly purple. Like this shade right here, I do really like this one, but this is a strong purple. And it's rare that I really want to go that strong with my purple looks. This is just right in my opinion. I mean, you can tell it's a purple, but it has a neutral kind of feel to it. I absolutely love it. You guys know I love the Natasha Denona matte formula. It's fantastic. And why don't we just run a little bit of this shade on my lower lash line just because we can. Beautiful color, beautiful formula, beautiful addition to the other purples that I've selected, especially the matte purples. I feel like I have a good, well-rounded set of deep purples. And to round things off, we are down to my last shade, and that comes from the Juvia's Place Magic Mini palette. It is this shade right here. I have to check. These two shades actually in the pan look very similar. I mean, on camera they look similar. You have to really kind of look at the undertone. This is a deep, strong navy blue. This is a deep, strong purple. This is the one I've selected, obviously. It is the shade IFE, I-F-E. I'm assuming that's how you say it. Wow, you guys, this is such a stunning, stunning shade. This is a cool tone purple. It's a very, very bold purple, but it is super, super rich and dark. Just look at that color. Oh, not a color I will likely use all over my eyelid, but guys, just a little bit of this popped into the outer corner or used kind of as either a defined liner or a smudgy liner is so, so stunning. This is the color I was wearing on my outer corner in the eye look that you saw at the beginning of this video and that you'll see again on my outro. Beautiful, beautiful shade. Very, very unique. I mean, I don't know that I've ever seen a shade like this. Granted, I don't have a lot of really bold, colorful palettes, but there's definitely nothing like this within my collection. I just love this addition to this grouping of purples. I think it is super fun, super versatile, super, super beautiful. So I'm gonna add a little bit of this just to my outer corner, just kind of as a smudgy liner. Hopefully you guys will kind of see just the blue tone come out in this one. All right, there it is, just a little bit right there. Hopefully you can kind of see that liner. Super soft. I do also like using this just in my outer corner as well. I'm not gonna do that today because I already have so many other colors on. But yeah, just look at those two shades together. Let me add the Huda one back as well so you guys can see the combination of deep outer corner shades. I just think that is the perfect combination for any purple eye look. And that, you guys, is it for today's video. Those are my top 12 purple eyeshadows in my collection. Here is one final look at all of them swatched on my arm. Aren't they beautiful? I love me a good taupey purple. These are all right up my alley. I'm certain that some of you guys probably would have included some more bold purples. I would love to know what those are down below. Let me know if there are purples that you really love that I did not include. But personally, I am very happy with all of these shades. These are the best ones that I have within my collection. And now back to the real non-green nailed Mandy for the outro. Thank you guys so much for stopping by today. I hope that you guys are doing well. Hopefully you're enjoying this 12 days of Christmas. Hopefully you are enjoying this Best in Color series. I have 2 more of these videos coming up, so I hope you guys aren't tired of swatches yet, but I'm very excited about the next 2 sets. Stay tuned for that, and let this be a reminder to subscribe if you are not yet subscribed, and make sure your notifications are turned on. 5 days till Christmas, so Merry Christmas to those celebrating. Happy holidays to all. Thank you guys again, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye. I've already wiped it off. That's staying there. I swatched every purple with this same finger.
Do you want to play with me when you're done?
I'm so close to being done. This will be a quick one, okay? Can we play Belle together?
Mm-hmm.
Can I be Lumiere?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You want to be Cogsworth and Belle?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm going to be 2 bells.
2 Bells and a Cogsworth. Lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.